Setagaya is a quiet suburban neighborhood in Tokyo. It is characterized by narrow streets, tight-knit communities, and a prevailing sense of calm. On the night of December 30th, 2000, that calm surrounded the Miyazawa family home. Inside, 44-year-old Mikio, his wife Yasuko, and their two young children were winding down for the evening, preparing for the upcoming New Year. Sometime late that night, an unidentified intruder quietly approached the dark back of the house, which bordered a public park. With quiet precision, they gained access to the home by slipping through a second-floor bathroom window. Japan consistently maintains one of the lowest violent crime rates in the industrialized world. A targeted stealth intrusion into an occupied family home in a neighborhood like Setagaya ruptured a deep-seated cultural expectation of safety. The intruder bypassed the master bedroom and went directly to 6-year-old Ray, strangling him as he slept. Hearing the disturbance, Mikio rushed up the stairs to intervene, but was repeatedly stabbed. The attacker then moved to Yasuko and young Niina, inflicting fatal injuries with overwhelming force. Typically, the aftermath of extreme violence triggers a severe biological response in an attacker. An adrenaline dump floods the system, resulting in panic, erratic movement, and an immediate instinct to flee the scene before discovery. But the intruder did not flee. Their heart rate settled down. They simply remained inside the dark house, completely undisturbed. The physical violence was brutal, but investigators would later recognize that the true terror of the Setagaya case lay in what happened next. The house fell entirely silent, and the killer settled in. Evidence shows the perpetrator occupied the home for a minimum of 2 hours, with some forensic estimates suggesting they may have stayed for up to 10 hours after the murders. Their first documented action following the attacks was walking downstairs to the family kitchen and opening the refrigerator to look for food. They pulled out 4 separate containers of ice cream, eating them one after another. They followed this with slices of melon and washed it down with barley tea. This meal took place at the kitchen counter, mere yards away from the stairwell and the rooms where the deceased family members lay. Transitioning from an act of brutal exertion to the casual consumption of domestic snacks requires an extreme degree of psychological detachment. The killer was entirely unbothered by their surroundings. After finishing in the kitchen, the intruder moved into the family's dark office, pulling up a chair to Mikio's desk. They woke up the desktop computer, logged on, and opened a web browser. The browsing history revealed highly mundane traffic. The intruder navigated through a few standard portal pages and even attempted to purchase theatrical tickets online. Because this web traffic was routed through a server, it generated precise digital timestamps. Investigators could map exactly when the killer clicked, scrolled, and eventually stepped away from the machine. The server logs eliminated the possibility that the killer was hiding in fear of police sirens. They were operating with total leisure, clicking through internet pages while 4 bodies remained in the house. During the struggle with Mikio, the attacker had sustained cuts to their hands. Before leaving, they located the Miyazawa family's first aid kit, pulling out bandages to systematically treat and dress their own wounds. They then used the family's bathroom, leaving trace biological evidence in the toilet, before finally preparing to exit the property. In their final moments inside, the killer removed their bloodstained sweater. They took off their jacket, their hat, and their shoes. They folded the clothing neatly and left the items in the house alongside the murder weapon itself. Dressed in different clothes likely found in the home, the intruder walked out the back door and into the early morning light of New Year's Eve. By leaving behind their wardrobe, their weapon, their half-eaten food, and their digital footprint, the killer turned the Miyazawa home into a perfectly preserved forensic time capsule. By all modern investigative standards, they had guaranteed their own arrest. When the Tokyo Metropolitan Police arrived on the scene the following morning, they found a home dense with forensic material. The first aid supplies, the folded clothes, and the eaten food yielded perfect biological samples. Investigators extracted a complete, pristine DNA profile of the suspect, along with highly detailed, unsmudged fingerprints. Tokyo police mobilized heavily. A massive task force was assembled, deploying thousands of officers to comb through the neighborhood, track the origin of the discarded clothing, and process the genetic material. The baseline assumption within the department was simple. They had the killer's exact genetic map, their fingerprints, and the clothes off their back. Finding a match was merely a matter of processing the data. Over the investigation, law enforcement interviewed over 280,000 people. They generated 0 arrests. Despite thousands of leads, the hunt stretched into a multi-decade cold case. The years ticked by, the task force shrank, and the suspect pool yielded no matches. It is a unique investigative paradox. The police have the biological markers of the killer's identity, yet they lack a name to attach to them. The Setagaya case demonstrates the limits of DNA-driven investigations. Even when an intruder leaves their identity on every surface, they can remain unknown if their data never finds a match in a database. In this home, a man left everything behind and still managed to vanish entirely.